into the signature. And so at this point, I'm about 2/3 of the way done. So once you get going and get the rhythm of it, it works up pretty quickly. It's just getting started. I think Kiala will vouch for that.
But it's actually really fun once you get it.
It is.
It's like making a friendship bracelet.
Yeah, kind of is. Okay, so there's my bead.
Can you explain what the difference is between the bead and the other wrappings?
The bead is the little, who has their book? I think you can see it in the book, or you can see it on that book. It's what happens when you trade colors.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like right there.
It's that little tiny
That spot right there.
stitch.
The white?
Yeah.
This one? Okay.
Do you want it coming out above or below the kettle stitch?
Just, ideally just below a little bit. You can see most of mine are coming out. Actually, 3 of them are right through the kettle stitch, and one's below and one's above. So you kind of get a feel once you get going of what angle it takes to get you there. All right. So we're getting close. So here's the bead. Over.
Pull it consistent, I guess.
Huh?
Pull it tight.
Yeah, that's probably the single most important thing, is that your tension as you're wrapping be even. You don't want to wrap so tight that you put waves in the leather, but you want to pull it tight enough that it's not loose. Okay.
So it's only ever going to be the blue that's making the bead because it has the needle?
No, they both make a bead. The bead doesn't have anything to do with the needle.
Oh.
The bead is simply the new thread that's going to start wrapping. But in order for it to wrap, I have to get it to the back here. So to get it to the back, I go over top of that thread and then pull it, and it's that going over top of that thread.
Oh, it's on this side.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I got it.
This one is called the end band with the bead on the edge, meaning the foredge. When we do the paper case book, we're going to do the end band with the bead on the spine. But this one's on this edge. Okay, I'm getting close to the edge and wrapped, and the thread is even with the middle of that contrasting signature. So I'm looking here, and I'm going to go into, this one's really close, so. Oops, way down. Okay. So I'm going to finish with the second wrapping of the blue thread, and I'm going to just take the needle, find the kettle stitch hole of that contrasting signature, go in, and take the needle off of the thread. Then I'm going to put the needle on the green thread, and I don't want to wrap with it because that'll make my end band bigger than the width of my text box. So all I'm going to do is I've put the needle on the green thread. I'm just going to go into the middle of that signature and come out the very same place. Oops. Right where the blue thread came out. Okay? And take the needle off. Then I'm going to take the two threads, I'm going to tie them together in a square knot.
So the blue thread and the green thread are coming out the same.
At the same place. And I'm going to cut them so they're about an inch long, the tails. Then I'm going to do a reverse twist. I can look at the thread and I can see which way it was twisted when it was made. I'm going to twist it the opposite way, and that's going to fray it. That's going to take those plies and separate them. So I'll do that with both of them. And I can use my needle and kind of separate them too. Because I'm going to glue the threads to the spine of the book, and I want them to be flat against the spine of the book. I don't want to have two threads that could pop off when I glue them. So by fraying them a little bit, it makes them lay flat against the spine. And then I'll just take a bit of the PVA and just glue it down to the spine. Okay. Okay, then the last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to trim the cord. And you want to be very careful when you do this, because if you happen to cut the threads on the end, your end band is ruined, and you just have to cut it off and start again. I had a girl in the Wednesday class that did that, and I felt so bad. But I've done it. Have you done it? Yeah. So I brought this magnifying glass just because it's not very light in here. And even with your youthful eyes, it's easy to get too close. So, you're going to put a piece of printer paper, just inexpensive printer paper, on the spine that will go from the base of this end band to the base of this end band. And so, just measure the width of your spine, cut yourself a strip of paper. See that I'm just getting this so it fits a little better. And I can put my book back in the press, or I can put it on the edge of the table. And to do this, I want to wet this paper first, because I want it to stretch. And so I'm going to wet it, and then I'm going to put the PVA on it.
Is printer paper generally, is it granular?
Yeah. Very, with rare exception, is 8.5 by 11 grade short. In fact, Expedex only sells one kind, and it's a special order paper. All
Oh,
the rest.
really?